Good morning on this Tuesday. Delighted to welcome you all to America's Future Series. The National Innovation Summit continues, day 2. My name is Scott Murray. This is the CEO and the founder of America's Future Series, David Hamilton. We're delighted to welcome you all, and we certainly thank our good friends. Our presenting partner here today is Viasat, and we thank Craig Miller and the good folks at Viasat as well. How are you, my friend? Day 1 is behind us, and I thought it was out of the park. I really did. And gotten a lot of good feedback on social media. I got up this morning and my gosh, Scott this, Scott that. That was spectacular. This was over the top. So I guess we did all right, huh?
Yeah, I think we did great.
Hit it out of the park?
Well, hit it out of the park.
In a baseball term?
I don't know, out of this world. I don't know.
Okay, well here we've got the rocket and we're ready to roll.
Absolutely. So everyone, thank you for yesterday. Thanks to our team. Thanks to Rain. Thanks to Justin here. Thanks to your son Doug, Murray Media. The execution of it was fantastic.
Everybody comes together. It's amazing what can happen, isn't it?
Thanks to Drew, our Zoom webinar guru, and everybody.
Absolutely.
So everybody did a really great job. You know, if our sponsors are happy and people keep coming back, then I think we're doing all right. Right. So hopefully everybody enjoys today as much as they did yesterday.
Well, what do you think today? How is it going to be different from yesterday? Just for people that are out there saying, we know what we did yesterday, what do we expect today?
Some different topics, all related under this theme. The Space Innovation Summit is all around innovation in the commercialization of defensive space. So we try to have a mix of people from the business world, industry, et cetera, military, academia, entrepreneurs, investors, et cetera. So we had a pretty good mix yesterday. We'll have a good mix today. We've got our good friend, General Keith Alexander, starting us off. They're relating cyber and space and that sort of thing. And that's going to be an interesting conversation. So we've got a really great lineup. Generally, it's kind of the same in that we just try to have a broad spectrum of different views, different backgrounds, et cetera, and focus on different aspects, different problems or issues around how does America remain the strongest and the biggest leader, the greatest leader in space and economically, military, et cetera.
Certainly in this wild and crazy world we're all a part of today, something we want to really focus on and be a part of for sure, immediately.
Absolutely. And I want to thank also Lieutenant General Harry Raduege.
Oh, he's great.
Lieutenant General Chris Miller for being our sponsors. Our hosts yesterday and hosting today. I think we've got Harry with us. Let's bring him on if we can.
Sounds good.
And welcome him and say good morning.
There he is already. Good morning, General. How are you?
Good morning, Scott. Good morning, David. It's great to be with you again. And wow, I agree with your comments about yesterday. That was just a fantastic slate of magnificent speakers and the interaction between them. I think it was just classic listening to Sir Richard Branson and General Hyten talk. I could have listened to that all day. And of course, Dan Hart following and all of our other speakers, all the fireside chats, the panel sessions. It was out of the park. As I was listening to the presentations yesterday, I was just thinking, of virtual events that many of us are invited to today. It's hard. You'd have to look long, far and wide to find any virtual event and especially an in-person event today that brings together that incredible group of top-tier leaders, innovators, and influencers that America's Future Series routinely brings together for these discussions. So, all of this knowledge, all of this insight, all of this interaction with these magnificent individuals is all right at your fingertips, and the comfort of your home or your office or wherever, maybe even on the beach. People got their laptops fired up watching America's Future Series. So thanks again for everything. Thanks for our sponsors. And I can't wait to launch into today's activities with the great lineup we've got. And I'll tell you, stay tuned, everybody out there, because this first person that's going to be up, General Keith Alexander, always has incredible insights from his positions that he has served our not only our government, our military, the intelligence community, but also in the private sector. So I'm looking forward to today and, can't wait to get started. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, General. And you guys make it easy when you have someone like Lieutenant General Chris Miller, Lieutenant General Harry Raduege, and they're the hosts, and you invite someone to come honor General Hyten, which you guys secured for us. We appreciate that. And Sir Richard Brandt said it's really easy when we can rely on the gravitas and the respect that the two of you guys have earned throughout your lives and your careers. It kind of makes it easy. People say, "Oh, sure, the generals are doing it. We're in." So I want to thank you both for that. And thank you, General Miller, for all of your support yesterday and your interviews that you did. You guys are part of the show, and you guys make it that much more interesting and that much more enjoyable.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
You're right, David. It's a real pleasure, and I won't take much time, but I just want to echo what Harry said. I think I learned things yesterday from the breadth of speakers that you pulled together that surprised me, intrigued me, and the bad thing about a virtual event is you can't shake people's hands and have informal conversations. The really good thing is that group of people could not have come together in a physical location. So what you've done is you've brought some fascinating perspectives on display for people to really dive into a subject that's critical to our nation, to our way of life, and I really appreciate the opportunity to help out. I'm also looking forward to today. I haven't had as much contact with General Alexander as Harry has, I'm sure, over his career, but he is a fascinating leader, and I'm looking forward to him as a kickoff for the day.
Well, thank you for those sentiments, and we're really looking forward to hearing what Craig Miller has to say with Viasat, our presenting partner, our presenting sponsor. Craig is going to join us now. Would love to say good morning to him, and thank you, Craig, for all of your support, and thank you for the interviews that you've done, and the moderation that you do, et cetera. And just want to say it's fantastic to have you and Viasat leading this event with us today.
Well, David, thank you, and thank you for the opportunity to be a part of this event. First of all, I want to welcome everyone to day 2 of America's Future Series Space Innovation Summit. For those of you returning from day 1, we had some amazing discussions yesterday, and it was really exciting to see some of the perspectives and the vision around space and its place in current and future military use. And I think today is going to be just as exciting. I'm looking forward to the discussion with General Alexander, as well as some very exciting panelists from NASA, the U.S. Space Force, U.S. Army, and U.S. Cyber Command. I think it's going to be a really exciting day today, and I'm honored to be a part of it. So thank you again for letting me be part of this. I think in yesterday's sessions, I think there are 3 important themes that really came up, and I think we're going to see these themes again today. And I think it'll be a rich, fruitful discussion. But the first element that I think is really exciting is government and commercial partnership in space. And what does that partnership and collaboration look like? There has been a big shift from government using purely government assets to embracing the use of commercial assets. And what does that look like going forward? And how are we going to create the best architectures that allow the use of government and commercial together? And for me personally, as a leader in Viasat's government business and as a longtime space enthusiast, it's really encouraging to see and hear how attitudes are changing about collaboration between the government and the commercial sector in space. And it's been a long time coming, and I think we've seen in the last 5 years that commercial capabilities are really accelerating. There's some really powerful commercial capabilities that are coming forward. And when you combine that with the government's sort of 50, 60-year leadership in innovation in space, taking the best of both worlds, it is really going to be important so that our warfighters and our citizens have the best capabilities possible. I think one aspect to continue to realize that's really important associated with that is that innovation is happening in multiple domains simultaneously. Obviously, there's a lot in the news about commercial innovation that's going on, the accelerating pace of commercial innovation. But there's still innovation going on in the government military domain. Some of the capabilities that are being developed for communications, sensing in the government are really eye-watering and really amazing. And there's still innovation happening there. But also we're seeing innovation in the government civilian sector as well. I think a lot of us have seen the images that have been displayed from the Webb Space Telescope just in the last few hours. And that's a really amazing capability. And it's literally going to change our understanding of the universe and how it works. And this is something that probably wouldn't have been done in the commercial sector because there's simply not a market for that. But it is innovation, and it is going to be universe changing for all of us. And I think the thing to recognize is, as leaders, we have to understand, where does innovation happen in the commercial market and how can we leverage it? And where does the government need to step in and fill the gaps or create the capabilities that the government needs that there's no commercial market for? And understanding where those dividing lines are and leveraging that is how we're going to be successful and create the best space-based capabilities and create the best collaboration for ourselves going forward. And in that vein, I think the second topic that I wanted to address is, how do we improve space-based networking capabilities for modern conflict? And the role of space networks and how they're used to quickly transmit, receive, command and control, act and observe across the battle space is changing rapidly, and adversaries recognize our dependence on space and our capabilities in space, and they are rapidly developing their own capabilities to do the same things, as well as their own capabilities to deny us from using ours. And recognizing that and acting that is going to be one of the main focuses of commercial and government collaboration to maximize U.S. operations. I think one of the discussions yesterday demonstrated that the DoD continues to recognize the value of space and serving warfighters. In fact, in a recent survey that Viasat conducted with the Government Business Council, we found that more than 3/4 of respondents, 77% in fact, agree that the future fight will require more advanced space networking capabilities to meet their operational and mission needs. And so basically the vast majority of warfighters agree that we're going to need cutting edge space capabilities to fight the next conflict, and we have to create those capabilities. The corollary to that is understanding that space and cyber are warfighting domains is paramount. Our adversaries have demonstrated the willingness and ability to target our space-based capabilities, both in the space domain and with other domains, especially cyber. And so our adversaries will go after our space capabilities, but it's not as simple as ASAT weapons that just shooting down satellites. They're going to come after the ground infrastructure. They're going to come after the control plane. They're going to come after the networking. They will use cyber attacks against ground, space, and user elements of the system. And it's important that we recognize that space is a warfighting domain, but the other domains will be avenues that space can leverage. Space will make more powerful and will be used to attack space. And we have to consider that holistic system. And with that in mind, it's very important to recognize that although proliferation of space capabilities is good, and we're starting to see a move away from a small number of exquisite things that could easily be targeted with kinetic weapons to more proliferated architectures, proliferation is not a panacea. It's not going to solve the problem of adversaries targeting space capabilities. Although a proliferated asset may have a large number of individual units that are difficult to attack with kinetic effects, it also has a very large attack surface in the cyber domain and may have a single attack vector that can affect the entire system simultaneously. So it's paramount that we ensure beyond proliferation, we also consider diversity and distribution in our space-based networking. We want to have systems that operate at different orbits, at different frequencies, have different management systems, have different ground segments, and create that optionality so that we have multiple capabilities available to our warfighters at any given time to create that true resilience. And continuing to develop on those network architectures that allow the use of government and commercial together. And we're starting to see that with several programs. NASA CSP is an awesome example of government and commercial working together, create capabilities. And the Space Development Agency is also creating some very, very exciting capabilities with its transport layer constellation. And the third element that I want to touch on just in closing here is we have to consider, as stewards of the environment, space safety, sustainability, and domain awareness. That's another issue that came up yesterday, and I think it needs to underscore everything we consider in space. And we're starting to see a lot more free and easy access to space, and that should be overwhelmingly positive. The democratization of space is going to be a good thing for all mankind. But often in human history, as we learn to exploit a new resource, sometimes we exploit it in an irresponsible manner. And so as leaders in the space domain, we don't want to be the factory that's creating cars that change people's lives and giving people new and exciting jobs, but is also polluting the river at the same time. We want to make sure that we use space safely and sustainably and create an environment where everyone has access to space, not just one country or one company, but everyone, and not just this generation, but future generations have free and fair access to space for all time. And with that, I'll turn it back over to David and Scott, and I'm excited about today's program, and it's going to be a really great day. So happy to be here with you today.
Well, thank you, Craig. Thank you for those insights.
Boy, for sure. I
want to say this. I want to emphasize one of Craig's points, which is the government has to leverage, we as a nation have to leverage the capabilities of agile, innovative companies like Viasat. So we appreciate you being at the forefront and being a leader there and making all of this possible. Secondly, I want to say it's kind of the time is now for leaders like you who are both technologically savvy, but who also have vision. And so I think Viasat's in a great place to have a leader like you who has that balanced view, that holistic view. And I have to say also thank you. If you were not partnering with us, sponsoring today, today would not be possible, nor would have yesterday. Without Viasat, we wouldn't have had Sir Richard, we wouldn't have had General Hyten, or any of the other people that came yesterday. So it's a team effort, and I really appreciate your support of us and all the great things you do for our nation as a whole.
Mm-hmm. It's my pleasure, David. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, we're going to get to see him visit with General Alexander in just a second.
Yes,
right?
sir. We sure are. We sure are. As we kick off day 2 of our National Innovation Summit, delighted to have each and every one of you here. We're going to be here till about 5 o'clock this afternoon, Central Time. So don't go anywhere. You thought yesterday was a rock star day? You have no idea what's about to unfold here today. So we thank all 3 of you, certainly, for being here this morning, bright and early, with all that you have to share and your great legacies. So thank you, thank you, thank you.